Hi, my name is Eric and this is Skinny People United. If you haven't seen the first video, it might be a good idea to see it. But, just to recap, these next couple of videos, in no particular order, are going to show how I went from this to this. Today, we'll be going over your diet. This includes your carb, calorie, and protein intake, types of food that you should be avoiding, and just basically the types of food that you should be expected to eat throughout this whole process. Now, this is a big topic with many important parts, and I don't want you guys to sit through a 10-minute video, so I've decided to split it off into 2 parts to make it easier to digest. This is part 1. The first thing that I want to go over is your carbs, calories, and proteins. Now, it really depends on your body, on how much you should be taking in daily. But generally, for protein, you should be expected to take around 1 gram of protein for each pound that you weigh. Before I get into carbs and calories, just make sure that you keep in mind that this type of diet is for people like us, like people with a high metabolism. For carbs, first you want to make sure that the carbs that you're taking in aren't empty carbs, like such as carbs from donuts and candy and soda and that type of thing. For your daily intake, you basically just want to eat as much as you possibly can, because that's really the only way you're going to be able to gain more weight, because our bodies are just going to burn it off if we don't. The same really goes for calories. I mean, like for me, I try to aim for 3,000 calories a day, and most of the time I don't hit it, but I try really hard to get to it. And that being said, it's helped me gain weight pretty easily. But the one thing that you should remember is that there's no correct number for the amount of grams of carbs, calories, and proteins and whatnot that you should be taking. It's because our bodies differ from person to person. It might take some time to find the correct amount for you, but make sure that you do go online and do your own research before attempting anything. Moving on, another important thing that you want to keep track of is you want to make sure you eat at least 3 meals a day. I know the majority of you out there feel like it's okay to skip your breakfast, but in fact, it's not. Breakfast is a big meal, and I'll use myself as an example. If I skip breakfast and I'm supposed to down 3,000 calories in a whole day, how the hell am I supposed to fit 3,000 calories in my next 2 meals? It's pretty difficult, right? I know there's people out there that say they don't have time for breakfast and they don't have time to make something to eat or anything like that. But it's actually really easy, because all you have to do is get one of these. One other thing that I got in the habit of doing is drinking a cup of milk every single morning. Milk is very important because it's full on carbs, calories, fats, calcium. It has so many nutrients. And even if you don't like milk, you should still try to get in the habit of drinking 1 cup a day. Or at least 1 cup in the mornings and more cups of milk later on during the day. But for breakfast, really, you should at least just grab one of those cereal bars like this, because they provide you with a good amount of calories, carbs, and maybe some proteins and stuff to help you start your day. Also, for people like us with a high metabolism, our body's always burning away at whatever we have in our body, and you want to give our body something to eat, or something to burn away, so it doesn't burn away our muscle. Majority of the people out there won't have time or the money to buy their own breakfast or cook their own breakfast. So if you want more information on that type of thing, and you actually do have the time and money, then just go online and do a simple search, and there's plenty of stuff out there for you to look at. Now, that would be ideal, but if it were really that easy to do, then there would be a lot more people that are in shape, but that's just not the case. Moving on to lunch. The same goes for lunch. If you can buy or make your own, if you have the time to do that, then that's perfect. Like, you're already ahead of the game. But if you can't, there's this miracle in a can that basically gives you almost everything that you need for less than $1. Chef Boyardee. Now I know it might seem crazy, but hear me out. When you think of canned foods, you probably think of artificial preservatives, MSG. But Chef Boyardee is actually one of the very few canned foods that have none of either. On top of that, in 1 can of Chef Boyardee, you're averaging around 500 calories, 60 plus grams of carbs, and around 15 to 18 grams of protein, all in just 1 can. It also has a variety of other vitamins that can be helpful towards your diet as well. But wait, it gets even better, because they also have this option where you can get whole grain Chef Boyardee. Here's your regular one, and here's your whole grain. and for the most part, they're the same price. I've been doing this for a while, so I've looked for alternatives because you can kind of get tired of eating Chef Boyardee over and over and over again. But I found that either your alternatives are too expensive or they don't provide enough nutrients or even come close to the amount of nutrients that Chef Boyardee provides, or both. Also, you can usually get cans of Chef Boyardee for around 75 cents at your local Walmart, which is dirt cheap. Now, of course, you shouldn't just eat just Chef Boyardee. You should vary up your diet and the other stuff along with it. Just make sure you do your own research and don't follow what I do word for word because, again, our bodies differ. Now, this concludes part 1, and I hope you've enjoyed what you've seen so far, and I hope it has been helpful. And if you have any comments, questions, concerns, again, just leave a comment in the comment section below, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. I'll be releasing part 2 as soon as I can, but until then, happy training.